I did that day. I was just like going. I first time it's already. No. I'm down to like. I have like everything. I don't care about that. But this means I can take any of these.
Hey, Lisa.
I'm behind you.
Oh, sorry. So all I'm doing is I create the live link and then I send it to Wendy. So you're going to get a link like this in your email. And it will pop open so that you can watch.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I don't know what you guys are going to choose, but
okay.
I mean, it would be easy for them to do it. It's not that they're perfectly not. All right. I think he did straight go and that will die. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's okay. So every man in my life so we're gonna try. Like my dad said, like Jake. How are you doing? I get it. My brother, my uncle. Yeah. So, how are you? Good. Great. Thank you. Oh, congratulations! How did you know that? How do you see? You're like, so yeah. Wow. Yeah. I didn't really announce it. I didn't try to like figure myself out. I mean, I didn't know it was going to happen, but it's just like that. You know, being married after I didn't know. Well, and I told my mom, I was like, if we wait a year, I'm going to be graduating from grad school and doing my apprenticeship and trying to plan a wedding. Yeah. So I want the summer to get it done now. So. No, we're going to Milwaukee. My family's from Wisconsin, so kind of halfway between. I mean, really, everybody. Yeah. So another busy summer, but yeah, I can't be sick. I feel all right. No, how come it's not giving me an option to create an account?
Is that better?
Jason, your emoji was fantastic.
Yeah.
Why do you hate them so much?
I'm more of the gift guy.
Yeah.
So I can do those all day. Love those. And personal, we don't need that. We don't need that.
I like the disco. Should we make a Swanto emoji?
Yes. Every time I change outfits. Oh my goodness.
That's kind of funny because Bella changed my she said I had too many wrinkles and I was too fat.
Mm-hmm. You know, the other thing that played into it too is I upgraded. I got a 32 gig phone. I was living in hog heaven for most of this year. It was great. And then it just all of a sudden crashes. Take it to the Apple store. They're like, sorry, you're out of your warranty. We can't do anything about it. So I had to go backwards. And I have no room for any of that stuff. It's like the Bitmoji app and all the other things. Like, delete. I know.
What are you Verizon?
AT&T.
See, what happened, I had no intentions of getting, I had no desire, I was happy with my button, I wanted to keep my button.
Yep.
And then John had the Pixel, and he's like, I can't handle this anymore. So Verizon had a buy one, get one free. So.
See, we're still paying on my 32 gig. It's like a monthly plan. So I'm like, I don't feel right saying, hey, let's go get a new phone when I'm still paying on the other.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bummer because I didn't go insurance to get the larger phone.
Yeah.
And then it backfired. What a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just yours. It's like really you're supposed to take 3 or 4.
No, some are doing 2.
You guys need more raffle tickets? Raffle tickets?
No, we can't. No, whatever. That's how big it is. Yeah, you feel like it for 4 minutes.
Well, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, it is.
Where you
Go ahead. You're welcome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Who's watching Junior?
And you know what? I downloaded it up here.
All 4 days.
No, I actually was going to come tomorrow, but now I don't think I am. I have a doctor's appointment.
Oh, Renata.
What did I do? I did too when I lost.
You guys are so low speed.
Sorry.
Who's up for
No, maybe it was like
Katie got me to go to Katie work. She's like, you.
She doesn't even eat with all of you, right? She sleeps.
No, I tried.
You put that in charge of the thing.
Yeah, well, I got the chicken.
You guys do formula or can you just have some?
She was like kind of refusing it. Big Katie knows this.
Well, good job on your presentation. Are you right here?
We're using more than
I just went for a change of the second.
supply is I'm 2 for 2.
Wow. No, I guess all I did. No, it's fine.
Look at that.
Well, that's what I was like. I can't ride. Forever like to ride. I do like rollerblading.
There's no control.
Really? I am gonna take
Just gravel.
Oh.
I went on it once.
You
And
like the
I
bike trip?
there's no like paid like.
Like a big trail,
Yeah,
there's
like
two
the,
big
what's
ones.
like the.
I don't know, my dad goes on them all the
Pack or
time.
whatever?
Like the Great American one, there's like a Great North American or
Oh, yeah.
Great North.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a great one and a northern one. I don't know which one is one.
That's not gonna work.
Oh, on the.
Yeah.
And then it was down gravel.
If I went, oh, you know what? That does something. I went on like a couple bike rides my whole life. And some yeah. But I can't do it by myself because I get lost. So I can make it out alive. Otherwise, I have no idea. And then you end up in like a random city. I'm like, how did I get here? It goes so far. Yeah. Maybe that's a great thing. Yeah. Or the that must be very fun to do. I know, I hear. Right.
Yeah, I had a number of
I know. Well, I wanted to check the book when I was tired. Oh, man. Yeah.
Can't say I don't know.
What's wrong?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe she didn't. Or is she one of those that goes to all the nice, but it's like all the things in the office.
Feeling better. No. I was feeling better.
No. Your body is stressed. I mean, you may not be stressed. Your body has gone through a lot.
Yeah.
And I still feel you a lot. When I it's all about all the time. I ended up stopping eating all red meat. I ate red meat for like 8 years because I thought I couldn't. And then I ended up at one point my doctor said, "Can you eat red meat?" And I ate my first. I You're so stressed that your body can't handle the same things it can handle. You know, and so I couldn't. If it's so I think that's just extreme stress. Your brain is under stress, your body. Yeah, really. You can't eat.
Oh, I'm standing in front of the screen.
Hi,
Wendy.
Except that there were kids on there.
Yeah.
Kids are watching.
Kids walked in.
Well, not anymore.
I'm not surprised. They found it. Well, ever since Jason was on the roof, that link shows up in your YouTube feed if you went on it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they went on YouTube and they're like, oh, they're like, this is boring.
I hope so. The transition? I think I sorry, I don't know why they made me laugh. Every time.
It like just all ran.
So when I go into special ed, I should take however you want to do.
Okay, so the presentation, yeah, you can use the short URL. It's also in the resources page on the website, but there are going to be a bunch of things you're going to click on, so you do want to open it up. If you go to the Summer Learning Camp website,
Yeah.
so from here, no. Digital curriculum. Can you refresh? Was this already up? I mean,
It's short.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was just like, oops.
kind is it?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know where I go.
Yeah, Julie, the short link's been disabled.
So I've been switching to Bitly's because Google URL is actually stopped. There's not being supported anymore. All of your URLs you already have in it are supposed to be good for a year, but obviously not for all of them. So instead, go to the Summer Learning Camp website. So go to the Summer Learning Camp website, which you can click on from the course catalog, which was shared with you,
Resources link.
or from the Itasca 10 website that you have for staff.
Actually, it's just for staff on the front page.
Oh, it is just for staff. I can't remember where I put it.
Yeah, go to research. I clicked on the
Okay, and then here's the website.
Yeah, I already have.
Oh, I have. So I think it was cool.
I got it. Maybe I was
Resources. You're on the- Resources, right?
I know, but this
I also already noticed yesterday, Carrie, like this, the Chromecast.
There's
So I don't really know. I get so.
yeah, so if you turn it like
I
this.
go to my house and every test I do, I get stopped, I had to. I did all kinds of steps and they tell me not to get on.
Oh, that's gonna be annoying.
I was like, no, that's can't be it.
Like,
What?
You're gonna get lost.
I was saying just yesterday, because I just got this as well. I was like, oh, that's. To make that not happen, if you're holding it like this, it's not, no, you're holding it like this. I mean, there's gotta be a way to like this.
Well, what about the way you can freeze on your phone?
Right, like, right, you can, yeah.
Which I did by
Lock screen.
mistake once and it's.
So, anyway, just, somebody got to figure it out.
That's funny.
I was literally sitting here, I'm like, oh, what's happening? It's not working. So we're just gonna do it like this for right now.
Old fashioned.
Okay, so first we are going to kind of go through a digital breakout. So a digital breakout is kind of like an online scavenger hunt. So it's the Breakout EDU boxes, but digitally. We're going to give you some rules and tips for ours. You may use Google for any trivia you come across. You might want an expert in your group. This is an 8th grade math digital breakout. So we will also assist and answer any questions. I am also going to ask that you work with at least one person next to you, which means don't both be clicking through everything because you're going to lose each other. So when we open this 8th grade math digital breakout, either in a group of 2 or 3, however you kind of want, whoever is in your immediate area, maybe the other 2 don't open it. The other 2 could use their device to do any of the Google trivia or anything like that, or close their device completely, however you want to work it best. But I would suggest staying on one screen between a couple people just to kind of help you work through it and how that works. And I mean, that's how I would have kids do it.
I mean, like we're talking about the tabs, too many tabs being open. And
Oh, no, that's not, we didn't
so,
get there yet.
I mean, you're gonna be on the Google site if you go in, then it's gonna put you in the Google form, and you're gonna answer questions there. And then once it tells you to go back essentially to that Google site, you don't need that Google form anymore. Close out of it. Otherwise, you're gonna have a billion tabs open. You're not gonna be sure where you need to be at. It's gonna get confusing. So
There's one main page, that's the website, and you're gonna always need that tab open. And then it's gonna send you somewhere. When you go back to the website, close that other one. Or, I guess it depends on how good you are at following tabs. If you have a whole bunch of tabs open right now, I would recommend dragging this one away from the other ones so that it's all by itself. So I can show you how to do that. And just, yeah. So now if you go to Chrome here, you can see, like there's your other set of tabs. I always have little sets going. So you'll be working on one in 1 second. That's great.
I don't like that.
Record.
Okay, because I don't know if I get crazy. I have to like pull it away.
Mine are all faded out.
Okay, so yes, you have this part we were just saying, you have to return to the Google site after each form. So it's gonna take you to a Google form, you're gonna answer the question, it's gonna tell you, give you a clue about where to go again. You go back to the Google site, you go where you go, it's gonna give you a question. So you're gonna go back and forth, but the Google site is always this important part. You can close out of anything else as you go. That's all the direction we're gonna give you for
We're
now.
gonna go on like a Chicago boat trip, so this one just was like, you have trivia, then I go to content, then back to trivia, content. So the trivia for this is just related to Chicago,
Time starts now.
Chicago landmarks.
Do we stop?
You go ahead and start, yes.
Okay, so is that what you think?
Chicago Breakout is over.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you have to.
Okay, yes.
Oh, you have that memorized. You're close, man.
Wait, where did you get that question?
Oh, do that one.
So trivia, math, will help.
You can use any online resource to find trivia answers. Like,
I
stats, you have those memorized.
I don't know, like below to reveal the first.
I know, so
Oh, I don't know.
What are we doing?
I
We can all do that.
You just look like you were. We could.
What is that?
We might be Joe's brain or something. Oh, excellent.
This is where I said everything.
This is it. Get it.
Oh, everyone.
Yeah, the drag screen is nice here. Those of you who have a drag screen on the puzzle, the touch screen is awesome. Touch screen for that. Awesome use of your touch. I'm
No,
just saying.
I don't like it.
No, you always.
Stresses me out.
Got it.
Okay. Just doing it. Okay.
It might be.
We had to find out.
Puzzle. Okay. One further down his next. Put this one, go back.
Oh, we look at the piece of paper to record their answers. You might want to scrap a piece of paper. We gave a word. Forgot about it.
Now I can back.
What did Google Forms have?
I don't remember.
Oh.
X, so would that be X to the 18th?
But the other piece is to reveal, once you got hit back.
So we need to simplify it. So that's be 9, right? 9.
Okay.
5.
Okay,
I think so.
Yes, you need all
Then
the
we want
No, that has a hard side. 958, is that what it is? Did I do it right? Look at me remembering.
Those are
We have 5.
Done with that Google form, it tells you then to go back to the Google site and click something. So then didn't you go back and then it brought you to the
wrong answer.
How does it know?
ours are broken.
Got it.
So that is. Negative 3, negative 2.
Every time they have to
Negative
click
3.
on something, it's going back to the Google site.
Yeah, and then where the works of Picasso and Van Gogh.
We're never
located.
putting those three
I think you're gonna put them in at the click.
Oh, wait, I didn't ask. Okay, we're gonna go back to the side. Got it.
And then you're gonna go back to this other page.
Diameter of maybe care negative 2.
Oh, wait, it's regular.
It already is negative 3. So it'll be like the y axis.
So you have to bring this way, so you.
Or more since then. What I started to do is like, if you wanted to start making they would have to find something to do something.
No, if you're reflecting on the
But this was the first go around, so I didn't know how long it would take to do it. So I just-
I don't know, I didn't look at your answer. I said,
Oh,
wait.
yeah, I did not notice this.
I found my
Negative, what is it, 1?
So it is to give.
I'm not a robot.
Give something like that, looking for an exact.
I remember that.
Numbers system classification. Like what type of number is it? Like what
Oh, it's
numbers is it?
So choices are like rational, irrational. Once they start getting more specific, irrational.
Here, 196 is a negative square, but the negative is outside of the radical. You can take the square root of 196, but then the negative is applied after.
Or positive and negative. Okay, got it. Thank you.
We need help.
Oh, I get
Okay, so classification are like irrational and rational. Where we're looking for. And actually get more specific. And we'll show you actually, it'll tell you your answer is not this. Change it. Okay.
Okay, this is yours.
So much. How does the wheel about?
I don't have the time. I don't remember.
Okay, so number classifications are mine. Okay, so irrational is time and irrational is
What did we choose?
Okay, so that's the answer. So now we know classification.
So
the whole numbers are positive. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Integers.
First they want, which are the negatives.
Well, that's
So
what
write
you
the
do.
function of it, just
Oh, and then
solve.
minus.
You know.
Just get the answer.
Oh,
Like
so
the
I'm
answer.
sorry.
Okay, so.
You can do it.
You know how to do it? No, that's right. I was thinking that. I know. That's pretty cute. I don't know how to write it. And now you're the nearest comma.
And he's looking for a number.
Oh, yes. We're not looking for the function.
Oh, we can do that.
Know that it's-
Who's an eighth grade man?
Growth, multiplying by something bigger than one because something bigger. And multiplying by something less than one because you multiply by something less than one. Each time.
No.
R is your.
Oh, right here. It's around here to the nearest hundred. Oh my God. So I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna have. We also like that here.
We're talking about doing 1 year at a time and just do it all in one chunk.
You're doing this. You're facilitating this.
No, is that right? And then we have to realize that there is no, we still don't stick within our time.
So. There we go. 20,000. I'm doing that.
Round it off accordingly.
No, minus 20,000. Wow, you want 9% of Oh, what are we doing wrong?
It would be 100.
Well, we were doing like growth. Submission time.
Oh, was it? And then subtract that from 20. Well, I knew that wasn't actually related to it, but I have some body fat in here. Okay, Tom, we need you to do the depreciation, I think, question for everyone on the board.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, we can't. Or how
I'm
much?
learning so much.
I would say, or how much you don't want to answer. I don't know that everyone needs that.
Isn't it like 9-4? You guys get the answer.
Yeah, so you want the answer.
I can look it up.
Is that it? 9-4-05?
Oh,
Yeah, that's it.
But right now, here.
There's your equation.
One minus your rate as a decimal, because you want something less than 1, so when you multiply by something less than 1, stuff goes down. And T is time. You could take away 9% every year, one at a time, but that would take a lot longer.
They are. Maybe because nobody's listening to you, Tom.
Probably How many years was it? 8 or 9?
This is not an 8
Eighth grade stuff.
But this is a 8
What each grader did while learning a digital breakout.
Oh,
I would totally help you with that. Time to do a little math. I definitely saw one of the 8th graders copy this whole problem and paste it into Google.
Because they brought that to my attention. They're like, if I pay $13 to this website, they'll answer it for me. I was like, yeah, or they just answer yourself.
Right. That's right. They learn the
Save
rules.
yourself $13.
So you can write the program and get the money from some other kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's not a tough problem.
Oh, don't do that scratch paper.
Perseverance.
I want to list whatever one you do.
No, so, but just no, I mean, I
want a new car.
Probably not.
That was formula there.
We won! We won! Nobody cares if we won.
I do.
There we go.
Where's my car?
One at a time.
Where's my car?
Try to do it all as a one song, unless you use that formula program. Because then you're taking 9%.
Yeah, but I wasn't telling you that part.
Yeah, and so then we added that with him for his class because then surely he could have.
Yeah.
I had all these memorized.
Candy, here you go.
But I don't anymore.
Winners.
You should choose that, I know that.
Oh, no.
I joined my classes last night.
I already had Cheetos.
I thought you were
Probably.
yeah, you can eat nothing else today. I thought you were going to say, so my son's and it's so funny because so yesterday Laura brings donuts for the kids, right? I was like, okay, well, you can have them.
But when we typed it in, it just.
And then Becky goes, what about cookies? Like, nope, nobody's listening.
Well, my son grew up.
Oh, I hope he got it.
And he's still like.
Must be outside of my stove.
I'm gonna go grab 2 more of these and then we'll show you.
I don't know.
Good thing is we're going over class before they see it.
I'm still making more. I got 4 left. Yeah.
She's next door.
Same thing.
Wait, you started.
Did you figure out that last one?
4. I think it's
I'm gonna pass it out before I forget.
Oh, you left your mom. It's like how you did it.
We won $1 million.
What's next? You got it.
I don't want to.
Hey! Sure?
What?
What?
Michelle, what do you want to know?
I'm way wrong.
We have 2,000, but we didn't use it.
Oh.
We got the
What was the
other.
real answer?
We didn't do it right.
We were close. There we go.
I'm not gonna do what?
Thank you.
Oh, good. I didn't even remember that. Or did you forget? Huh. Now
Yeah, but you're doing it for.
because we won.
Okay, is everyone out? Everyone out?
Oh.
Hey. Yeah, you really. We got the number 2,000. We got 2,000. But I think it's called, you know, like. Oh, yeah.
Right.
I don't want her. Right.
No, you don't do anything that I, you know, she knows.
Oh, it's two.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. Oh, is there game?
Yeah, a kind of fun ending there, like the just kidding, but go grab a piece of candy or something, can help you easily visually see in your room who just actually got to the end, you know, because they're gonna get up and go do something, and then you saw that next, said go to Google Classroom for your next directions, so, because people are gonna be finishing at different times. Tom has definitely since done, you know, we first did this one together, but then he's
Yeah, I remember when
got
she was,
crazy.
when she was trying to explain to me how to do this at first, I was like, I don't get this. Like, I can't do this. Like, it makes no sense to me. I really felt like that, but it's really like a pattern. And once you recognize that pattern, like I've made like 3 or 4 since then, and it's like always gone quicker and
All by
quicker.
himself.
No, the most challenging part, this was like the with the trivia, the most basic trivia I had, because you would just like basically click something and answer a basic question. But then I started like with the last few trying to like make it a little deeper. Like it was like the modern wing of the art museum is being, you know, tiled, and then the flooring costs this much a square foot, and it's going to be sold for 75% of the original price. How much is that going to cost in materials? So they had to look up data, and then they had to then critically think and then solve just a basic, in my opinion, math problem. But then they would jump to a problem that we're just going on.
And I think
That's a key word there.
I think even that Google search part of it, I mean, I think you are teaching them so much, even just when you're adding in those little trivia type things, like, because I was saying over there, the one question says how many, or what's the diameter of this attraction? And when I was in his room when the 8th graders first did that, I saw a kid copy, what is the diameter of this attraction? Google, paste. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna watch where this goes, like without saying anything. And sure enough, he like looked at it and then was like, oh, it's the Navy Pier Ferris wheel. Like, you know, because he was like, you can't just Google.
Yeah, or they'll copy,
you can't just copy
the whole question.
Yeah, then.
And then I'll be like, I made them. I can find it.
So anyway, they're nice because as you can see, we were walking around the room checking on different groups, but the groups we work with were working because you are kind of working towards this like fun, we're going to win, we're going to break out. So just kind of, it helps you catch those misconceptions, work with small groups while everyone is kind of working. Engaging students allows for extension and differentiation. So there's some examples down here. These are not ones I created, but there's some other cool ways. So for instance, where a group of 4 needs to work together, it sent 4 people in the group to do 4 different things, and you could have, you know, kind of your leveled work there where everyone is still working on something, everyone is still contributing their part, but maybe, you know, the Pink Power Rangers question is a little bit, you know, maybe has less words in it, or, you know, if you're towards math. So just some cool ways you can do that.
I know for the math on the Google form, one of them I used review for polynomials. So maybe the answer is like 3x plus 4, but they put like 4 plus 3x, which mathematically it's equivalent. But I did like remind them ahead of time, hey, this program is going to only recognize it in the order that I put it in. So if you're like, I know it's 3x plus 4, didn't accept it, then maybe you need to flip it around and then put 4 plus 3x. But I mean, that's still important in math that you recognize that those are equivalent of mathematically. So if it works for like typing in math, I mean, I know that it's going to work well in other content areas.
Yeah. So we're going to go through kind of what this looks like. So I made a kind of a blank Google form. So I want you to go to this side and slide and click on it because it's going to make a copy for you. And then you're going to own that one. And we're just going to kind of look at how it's set up. One of the biggest things was using sections instead of questions because they only see one part at a time. They have to answer it and then they see where to go to the next thing. If I put those each as questions, then they would be able to see where they could go next and skip the question itself, if that makes sense. Like when you entered, 958, then it went to the next section of that Google form, which told you. So I'll show you that. But you just kind of got to think of this basic pattern. The goal of each Google form, and I'll show you ours. Ours was just one folder, it has 5 Google forms in it, or 6 Google forms. And the goal of each one is to, section 1 be either some clue from the previous picture, or it can be the question right away. Sometimes you had to enter that 958, sometimes it just gave you the new question. And then the last section shows you just where to go next. If you want to go into this folder, you can see all of the things we used to make. Oh, I should probably, if I had this as HTTP, you'll have to copy and paste that. It won't open a new. It won't. That'll open it as well. Okay, so but going to the copy of this form, I'm going to open a copy of the form. this has 3 sections. So this is a question about the previous clue, or just a password to enter from the previous math question.
So I know that on one that I did after the one that you saw, I put, because I think you said one had mathematicians that you saw at professional development, so I did one like that. So on your Google site, you'll have a question there, and you say, hey, the following mathematician said blah, blah, blah. And they click on Einstein, and it would say, like, Einstein is known for his theory of blank, and then just type in relativity. So it's just a trivia question based on that last image that they clicked on.
Yeah. So in ours, it was like Soldier Field. You clicked on Soldier Field. First question was, what is the capacity? You know, just kind of something to relate to what they just clicked on. And then the next section, and by the way, adding sections is just those little double bars over there to the right, if you don't know that. So on Google Forms, that's how sections work. And if you want to ever see how this looks for the kids, you can always go up to the little eye on your top of your Google Form. It'll preview, because obviously we see all 3 sections. But if you want to ever go to that eye and preview, you'll see what that looks like when you give that form to somebody. So the second section is that content question. So now here's your math problem, or your, social studies, whatever. This is your content, what you're asking them. And we're going to go over how to do the response validation.
And the third one is literally going to be a question that will ask them to go back to the Google site and then click on another image. Like, hey, this mathematician came up with the number E. And then you're going to go and find that mathematician, click on that mathematician, and be given another trivia question based on that mathematician.
And you'll see this section actually doesn't even have a question. See how this is a question with an answer? You can add a section that's just a description. So there's no question there. When they see that, it's just going to be the direction of where to go next. And you'll see I added on the format. I didn't have this when we made the one, but I added on my template, go back to the Google site and close this Google Form tab so you don't get confused with too many tabs. So, they're not going to read that, but you can point that out if that's what's happening. So I added that. So all you're going to do is make a copy of this form, 5 times. So it's kind of thinking, what do I want my trivia or pictures to be? What do I want my content to be? And then you're just figuring a way to direct them back to the next question.
I know that when I wanted to actually make my own, I literally just wanted to see if I had the tech part down. So I just made a simple one where I clicked on one image, I went through my 3 questions, and it took me to another image that I would click on, and then there's the win. Can I do that? Because if you can do that, you can replicate that over and over again and make the whole thing.
And on the same slide, so under that copy the form, if you open goals of each form, I kind of made just a 1-page little document that if you wanted to just kind of write it out, like this is going to be my clue, this is going to be my content question, this is going to be my clue. So just maybe have that to go back and forth. Just if that's helpful.
Yeah, like storyboarding it basically.
Yeah.
I think coming up with those trivia questions, as I said, was the hardest part because I could think of the math problems I wanted to ask them, but what trivia do I want to have is like brain breaks in between there.
And at the top of this page is that same template. So if you want to save one thing in your drive and this is it, this you could always go back to. This is how I plan it. This is how I copy the Google Forms. This is how I plan it. This is how I copy the Google Forms. Any questions so far on that? Okay, so this is how response validation works. So there are 2 types of data validation in Google Forms that make the digital breakouts possible. It's what checks to make sure they have the correct answer. And
you can make it numeric, you can make it text.
Yeah, I'll just go back to the Google form I just made a copy of. So when you click on the question itself, you want to make sure this toggle is required, otherwise they can skip right past it. But the little snowman in the corner is where you're going to get response validation. This is also where you're going to get a description if you want to add a description of your question. But response validation is what we're looking for. When you click on response validation, yes, you can work on numbers, or text. That's primarily what you're gonna wanna use. Length is, so sometimes you know how you fill out those Google Forms and you're putting your phone number in, and it's like, error, that's not your phone number because it's not enough. That's what they used. They used length. They used that you have 10 digits or you have 7 digits in your answer. So you're probably not gonna wanna use this because it would just be the length of the answer. This,
No one I would click number. Most of them I wanted it to be that exact number. So I'd have number and then that next drop down I'd pick equal to. Otherwise it's going to accept things that aren't correct. But maybe if I was an inequality and it was like the answers are greater than 500, then maybe I would use the greater than assumption.
yeah, mostly, right. If you're doing this as like kind of a quiz type digital breakout, equal to is usually what you're going to use. You can see all those other options there. Maybe you do want the answer to be anything larger than 50. I don't know. Then greater than or equal to might work. But you're going to mostly use equal to. And so say I wanted the answer to be 15. Here is the thing. When they are answering this question, you know how yours was red all the way up until you got the answer right? So that automatically happens. But here's another thing. Google Form automatically makes it say, this is not 15. I don't know why. I think it's kind of weird. So basically it's giving you the answer while you're wrong until you're right. So you have to add custom text. So we just added not quite. We just made them all say not quite. Or something.
Whatever it said, it did say
Whatever.
yeah.
Not there yet. If you don't add that custom error text, Google Form will give them the answer. I don't know what the purpose is behind how they made this. Obviously it wasn't for this. So you have to add custom error there. You can, so yeah, text. Text is going to be exactly. Text, you can say it contains all these letters. So, wait, how does that work?
You're gonna probably want to pick contains every time. I can't really think of an option where I would pick doesn't contain.
Right, but why did integers not work, but integer did? I can't remember. Okay.
I know that we said not to capitalize it, so if somebody capitalizes it, that could be an issue too. I mean, you have to be real specific, like don't include commas, round to this place.
Oh, you want expression. I'm sorry. You want expression, not text. You want the expression to match. That's what you want, expression match. I think I have that on the next slide, sorry.
Okay.
Text is just gonna be that it has
that in it.
Has it or doesn't have it, or an email address it's looking for a URL. So again, regular expression is what they're looking for text. And then you want it to match.
This should be regular. Yeah. Then it'll just say.
Oh, here, I did have the slide. Oh, so they did put.
All right.
Oh, here. So regular expression, if you wanted to match exactly. I did put this on the slide for a reason. Regular expression, if you want it to match exactly. Text contains, if you want to give it some leeway. So you for that integer, we might have said text contains, because as long as you have those letters, then if you added the S or not, you wouldn't care. So kind of depending on what your answer is. If you wanted to just at least have this word.
Yeah, or if it was a real number, they put real number, but I put real, then it would still work because it contained real. So it would still work.
Correct. So I think we have, what, about a little under 20 minutes left. If you want to try to make a copy, if you want to see what it looks like when you make it, if you want to send it to your neighbor and see if your response validation worked. If you want to I can print out that, does anyone want that plan? I don't know if you want the planning sheet. I can print out some planning sheets, so if you wanted to write, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'll print some out.
I'll just try to make a small scale version just to see that you can get all everything like systematically working the way it needs to work. Because after that, it's just dropping in your actual questions that you would drop in. But if you can figure out the tech part of it, then that's really the part that takes the longest at first to understand that.
I was saying, and yeah, the first time it did take Tom and I doing it a little bit longer.
Yep.
Maybe like, did we say 2 plan periods? Did you say?
Something like that. But then I'm like thinking, man, I can't just be like taking too long. I won't be able to use this. But it moves a lot quicker once you recognize that pattern.
As soon as he made one on his own, yeah, he was. So you can do different like review type questions. Yeah.
If you're like confused on what to do first and you're attempting to actually make it, like we'll help you out. Just let us know.
Well, that's
Well, how do we, but this was, the.
I don't know.
This one, then we tried, then he did, then is on multi-pad.
This one you don't read.
But that response validation is cool for receiving other things, right? For collecting number, I don't know.
What is custom error tab?
Did you create this yourself?
Yes, just if you don't see it.
I need to make a copy of this before I guess. Yeah, make a copy of it. Make a copy of the copy. Yeah. I never know how to make a copy on a Google form.
Well, make a copy.
But you want to save the original
Itself
template.
from the slate. Yeah. slideshow. Yeah.
How do you make a copy?
Another copy of,
Found it. Never mind.
like you said, you can see, like on here.
So you don't lose your original. That's what I'm confused with. What is your
So
problem?
this is just,
There.
this is just like how.
I must have done something.
So you just go down
Now-
here.
now it's there. That makes sense because it just wasn't on mine.
And then for this top thing, like if they click on Einstein for that first part, I'll just keep on Einstein. Then the actual question in here. And then when I type in the answer.
I just see mine.
I'll be sent.
Okay, so like, this one, for your first question here, you said, like,
I mean, it's the site. You
Yeah.
wanna do that?
yeah, but then like you said, this is the first question.
First question.
Click on that. So then here, is that this section or is that?
Because when you grab the link from the top
Yeah.
of this Google form and you attach it to that image, the student is only gonna see each portion of it form one at a time. They're not gonna, you know how you see all three parts they're making?
Yeah.
They're only gonna see one part at a time.
So you do everything in one form,
Correct. For that, under that image.
under that image, okay, so you're gonna have multiple forms.
Yeah, like let's say you wanted to end up, by the end of the activity, having them click on 6 images. And you're gonna have 6 forms with those in each section.
Okay.
Click on, so this is where you put like, part 2 is like, click on the picture that.
That'll be your concept question. So like me, I would ask them like,
Here's some of that planning.
pie
sheet
is
if anyone
one.
wants one person on that, put them
They would
there,
say
you
like,
know.
Now you gotta go to the next.
this is where it tells you.
Oh, and by the way, that jigsaw planning website. You just Google, you sign up, it's a free account, you put in, you say how many pieces you want your level and the diameter.
Creates a diameter.
Oh, your butt's right in the video screen.
Hi, Wendy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you start with that.
Still have the.
Okay,
And then you have to put
That one
Yeah.
over.
Well,
Okay.
so, and then you gotta type in.
Oh, that's right.
Otherwise it's gonna tell them the answer, not yet. And then,
Number.
now it's good.
Yeah.
Over. Usually I just put like instead of question one, I put like.
Yeah, and then you just sign it. It's
Click
you.
on
Breakout.
Einstein.
So it's just an image. Wherever you put it, and then you click how many pieces
It doesn't
you
matter.
make. Did you plan it?
And then you put your actual.
I also like millions.
Okay.
Really enjoy.
So then this is technically would be on the form, like the second question.
Here you don't.
Right, okay. Yeah, so this one. Okay, so this one, first one was, image. This is that.
And you know what?
Would it be feeding into the next
Yeah,
one?
so it's whatever your homepage.
Something that is, yeah.
Because this one's a little tricky.
Go into the next one, then a bigger place.
So like, right now, this is.
Because that leads to all this.
You want, now what do I do?
And we did give
Well, you have to have the first page.
This is where you would ask questions that go back to.
I did start with like maybe I did like a what's the question?
So you have to have a Google site, and then what
Because like
you
you
do,
have to
after
have
like.
an page that has all the pictures.
Well, so this is the first spot that they go to.
Right, but then that question is gonna send you back to the first stop.
Right. How do I get there?
Isn't that a Google site?
Oh, I didn't even show you guys how to make a Google site because I did a whole, when we taught this to Peacock, I had already taught a whole separate Google
I'm like,
site.
I don't
You have to have your phone.
Yeah, it is. So if you just go to your drive,
Google site.
drive.
Attach that.
Yeah, real quick, anyone who wants to know how to make a Google site, it is insert from, it's super easy, it's drag and drop with insert. So you go to new and just Mine was loading.
Oh, new Google site. Wait, where did you go after?
So after new, I went down to more Google site.
Where? Go to your drive. Go down to more. Go down to more. Google site, let's say make some well, that's easy. Okay, so when you needed to link something, there's your.
Do you have a site? Yeah. Okay, so now you would just name it like your form, your doc, your sheet, whatever, just by going up here in the corner, putting a name on it. There's a couple of themes. It's very minimal, but if you click themes over here, you can kind of change up your colors. You don't really get to change the text, the font, the blah, blah, blah. It's super basic, but it's nice because it's all done for you. And then from there, you just put things on by, sorry, I'm trying to watch up there. You can either just go right to your blank space and double click, and then it gives you basically all of these options, or you go to insert text box, right? Insert image, insert right from drive, and you can pick the Summer Learning Camp website is a Google site, and that's why you can see the course catalog, just try inserting some things in. And if you, again, go to the eye, the view, you'll see what it'll look like when you give it to a kid as a link.
Do I have to worry about it right then? What I always do is I have at least one other image that they can maybe keep using that,
So then when you the Google form, right? So then I linked, right? So I hit send on the Google form, and I got the send link, and I linked it, and then the ones that were wrong. So just click link.
Sorry, what did I say?
Just when you're on it.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say, if you go right here.
So this was. You have to send
So more.
Send them fill out.
And then they can go into there.
Nope. Okay. So that. So when you want somebody to fill out your Google form, you go to send. This works a little bit different than documents because you're not sharing it. So you go to send link and then copy it.
Oh, okay.
And I'll show you it in a tab. I have it on my
So that's your Google form.
Right.
So basically, you're just link. So now when somebody clicks that, yep. So now when somebody clicks that. So that will eye button to see what it looks like to somebody when you. And then they click that. That really can go anywhere.
But it's going to back to the first question.
Otherwise, people just hover over.
Because this I didn't start.
So my third question. Okay, so my first question was on my site right here.
I don't use that in class.
Yeah, okay, because I was saying something.
Drag this stuff all around.
Yeah, I found one on the internet that just said not quite.
So it's a text box that said, click on the blah, 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 and then you start there and that sentence. My phone on the blue was on the site. Yeah, if you, it was, I can't remember what it was. Oh, the 1985 one, yeah, because you want them to have, right, where do I go? When I open this Google site, where do I go? So I have
So how do I take this?
link off.
Right now.
Yeah. So now, if I add another, I would think.
Is there a question?
No. Or you can talk about it either way.
So this one I set up as long as the number's higher than if you put in like 5 or less, it says no. No, that's not enough. If you put in any big number,
It's a rule.
yeah. I don't remember what number it is. 5 or no. 5 or no.
That's how it's split a lot.
Would you make that?
But then you
I haven't done anything.
then when you go back to the site, click on something else.
Yeah.
You said this would be a good book for the 8th grade.
Yeah, social studies, you can have, I mean, all the clues can even be, whatever,
Because then that could build their idea to the question.
I have a development all year.
It's gonna be, I want it where the kids ask.
You know what you can do?
What I think.
Okay. Okay, so now they'll click here. And then how do I get them to click this?
So click the eye.
Okay.
I need a picture
Okay,
of the
so the
site.
first thing will say, click here to the
Right.
click.
How do I make
Now this should be,
Right, this.
click on
Kind of picture of the zoo, right?
Oh.
I said that here, so where do I get my URL now? Put that on that picture.
so you click on the picture of the zoo, so go back to your site. And this should be the next one, this is the next
Gotta put a
one.
question.
It is, but it doesn't have a URL yet.
I'm just trying to.
No,
Okay, so this has the URL to get me to the first question. Okay, that's done. Now if you go back to my,
And then, but it's gonna be on file.
yeah, I know, yeah. So, okay. So now if you go back to my. Okay. So just go down. So they know.
And then like, so then when you wanna put on here, you wanna get
Another one?
No, we didn't do it though. Where? Okay, so this is click on picture of the zoo. They would go back and click on. Where's that gonna take? How do I get to the next? Oh, when I go and make the next one.
Copy,
That's
you can
where,
do the copy Google form again.
gotcha, now that makes sense.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, I don't know where that next one's coming from.
So if you almost, that's why I like maybe a planning sheet and then make private.
Right, so now I don't have to get
Here's
back
where
there.
the volleyball, so then go back to your form.
Yeah.
You make another copy of it. Well, that's for
No, not to get back to my page, or if I can add another.
So just, because you are logged into your Google account, it knows you own this one.
This is just a title of, I just put volleyball for each of these because they're all in the volleyball section. Then here's.
You can always, that'll always take you back to editing. Only you're gonna see the pen, nobody else is.
Okay.
But you do have the same one open.
Yeah, so yeah, that, like, it's going on. Okay, so then I would have to create a new section.
No, just copy the Google form. Each Google form is already set up, so then you load the section.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that's cool.
No, I had this one. And I mean,
You had this.
this. Yes. So after I do one, now what do I do?
Okay, so
Okay,
that's
so now you want another one that looks exactly the same. So that.
This is a lot to take.
After you start taking Google form,
Yeah, you
more
got
often
like
than make your own plan for right now.
And I have that. I also think we get
Maybe another copy, you might want to call it.
Otherwise, one other something came back.
Just to remember all the stuff. Keeping track of them.
It's a lot.
That's cool though. That's cool.
Ah.
And now this might be trivia question about the zoo, content question, where do you go next?
All right, that makes sense. Yep.
And really, the first one does seem like it takes a little bit more time, but like I said, Tom's been just making them for lots of different things. And every time I get in this room, the kids have all. Always.
Oh.
Who was it, Emma Weiner, that came out of his class and I was in the hallway and she turns to her friend? Yeah, it was actually fun.
Oh.
I told her. Yeah. I don't know how you're gonna take this.
This is where you have
This would be no, right?
I don't know, I'm looking at this. I'd be
We're
mad.
so. How many teams in the concert?
So how many?
I said, I did not.
Last year, girls team had
You have it. Oh, okay.
You know what, I got this here for lunch.
Yeah, you know, it's true. You know, it's stuff you can see that.
Yeah.
Go back to searching.
I do the sex. Yeah, and then she and I go back and forth. Yeah. I can do that little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I think lunches all set up and you ready, right?
No.
Or was it 30?
I mean, 9:25, lunch starts at 30.
Okay, yes. All right, well, lunch is all ready.
Do I vote?
Are they all done?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think